Welcome to the Inspiration Station hosted by Joshua Lenox, the place to fill up your tank if you're in need of encouragement and motivation.
Hey, it's Joshua Lenox, the Inspiration Station. And y'all already know how we do. We upsize in 2025 all day, every day. Y'all, it's the last Friday in October. Can you believe it? I know you can because we have no choice, right? And I know today is Halloween and things, and I know some people have been joking with me up leading up into this week, especially some of my clients are like, "Are you going to dress up like Michael Jackson from Thriller?" I'm like, "Oh, y'all got jokes, but no, I don't do Halloween." And I actually grew up sometimes doing Hallelujah night at church. But anyway, I hope that everybody's had an amazing Friday thus far. I know that you could not wait to get to me. I know you don't have to tell anybody. I don't want you to hurt anybody's feelings or let them down by thinking that they're the highlight of your day, knowing that I am. So anyway, I hope that everything has been going smoothly. And again, as I always say to y'all, if you've had some challenges or obstacles today or even this week, just let it be a reminder and an indication that you can overcome anything and that you are absolutely more than a conqueror. And there's nothing that you can't do, and there's nothing that you can't handle, and there's nothing that you cannot get through. So, hello to everybody out there on YouTube Live, LinkedIn Live, Instagram Live, Facebook Live, Amazon, Audible, Apple, and also Spotify. Hope that you all are enjoying this last Friday in October. Y'all, this is holiday season that we're entering in, and definitely being very sensitive to what we see taking place in the world, especially with people in fear and anxiety, really worried about what things are going to be like for them financially, for food, for jobs, for all kinds of things. And I just, of course, just speak right now that this, as the scripture says, for us to be anxious for nothing, but with prayer, supplication, and with thanksgiving, we make our requests known to God. So we know that we serve a God who is over the government. The government is on his shoulders. And any problems and issues that we have right now, or fears of people that you know in your lives, we cast our cares upon him, for he cares for us. And it does not mean that you might not feel the sting of certain things, but we know for sure that we look to the hills from which cometh our help, because all of our help comes from the Lord, not our jobs, again, not government, not a leader, any type of leadership, anything. But our help comes from God. He is Jehovah Jireh, and he has always provided, and he will continue to provide. And we have never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging for bread. So we're not lacking in anything. So I just wanted to say that really quick. I wasn't planning to, but there it is, and there it is. But really quick, let's jump in the Inspiration Station. Y'all know what we do here, and if you're new here, I hope you go back and look at some things. But this is just a place for all of us to come together. We're inspired not only to hear something, but also to do something, to take action and things and remain consistent in that. Also, this is a place where you will see some different things coming about. I'm not going to go into right now, but I want to really jump into this, something really pressing on my heart that I wanted to share as I was going out throughout the week, something that I keep seeing as a theme showing up with clients, people in my life, people that I've seen on social media, and things of that nature, and things that I've noticed in the lives of certain people who have influenced me. Greatly. And also looking at my own life. And again, as we always talk about the inspiration station, you're an inspiration not only to others, but you're an inspiration to yourself. And I've had to do some reflection and finding out that there are some areas in my life that I've overlooked that would prove that I've been an inspiration to myself, and that actually give me a push to want to move forward in certain areas in my life currently. So what I wanted to say, the title of today is just going to be, you don't need training. You don't need training like you think you do. It's not even a title. I don't even want to put a title. This is a conversation today. You don't need training, or you don't need the certain background to do certain things that you want to do. Oftentimes when we get stuck in our lives because we're so caught up on what should I have in order to attain what I want or what I desire, whether that's a career path, whether that's a job, even if that's a relationship, or being married for the first time, moving for the first time, entering into a certain I don't know, any academia for the first time. I mean, this can be used in any and every area that you can think of, where you think that you have to have a certain skill set, you have to have a certain training, you have to have a certain level of advancement in order to be in and do or accomplish certain things, and that's not always the case. Now, sure, do it if y'all can see this right here behind me, and let me tell y'all really quick, I have my degrees on the wall, the three of them, and in my license as a licensed mental health clinical mental health counselor. And getting a little tongue tied, it's a lot of letters. But I did not realize how long it would take me to get to that final destination in a sense of, or I'll say final entryway into being fully licensed. I didn't know how many years it was going to take. And didn't know all of the things I was going to have to go through to get to that. And what's funny is, y'all, this was my first time ever putting these things up on the wall. Sometimes I wasn't always so excited about putting things up on the wall because I've been used to moving a lot over the course of my life. So it's like, oh, don't get too comfortable putting something up there. But actually, this time I was like, you know what? Put it up there. Put your stuff up there. You'll work very hard and you might need to look at it. Sometimes you having it hidden might make you forget how much work you put into what you have become because these are not just degrees and a license, they're life experiences that are on paper. Because it's not just looking at the academia part, it's like, who was I during that time? What was I going through? What was I pressing through? What was I believing in? What was I having to have faith in to attain whatever accomplishment that is? But when I look at a license, I could, if God's telling me you're going to be a therapist, it's like, okay, but I don't know if I can do this or that and the other. And it's like, well, you're going to do it, and I'm going to show you that you're more than capable. And don't think about all the things you don't have. And yes, you can go through school and you get that degree and go off to do something that you want to be licensed in or certified in. And you might find that you actually have more skill set than you thought that even academia could not teach you. So, what I want to do is use a quick story just to kind of circumvent all the things that I'm saying. I'm not going to be with you guys that long today. I know some of y'all are ready to go trick or treat and got your kids going to go trick or treating and things like that. Hope you all please be safe out there. But oftentimes, I just want you to sit with this for a moment. What do you think that you are not doing right now because you think that you're not qualified for, or that you think you don't have the skill sets or the talents or the abilities for? Because actually, you probably are being very minimal of yourself and really looking at yourself like looking down on yourself and not realizing you actually have more in you than you think, even if it's not on paper or under some level of criteria or standards for something. When I was in college undergrad at University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, whoop woo, homecoming UTC Mox is this weekend. Will not be there, but I'm there in spirit. But when I was a freshman, I took an intro to dance class. And it was just for fun. And plus, I'm a natural dancer, not trained or anything of that nature, but I could do anything that you show me or anything that I can watch, I can emulate it. And I wanted to take that class to learn a little bit more about the background of dance and where things come from and different choreographers and things of that nature and the movement of dance over eras and decades of time. And I loved the class. And the director, Miss Coulter, she one day she asked, she said, "Does anybody know how to do the waltz?" And I raised my hand, and she said, "You, Mr. Lennox, come up here." And I was like, "Oh man, like I should have kept my hand down." And I learned how to do the waltz by my great grandmother. She used to take me down to a center that she used to go to in Pensacola, Florida. She would take me down there and she would have them ask them to turn on music, and I would go dance and I would do anything. They put on MC Hammer or anything, just anything, and I would come alive. But sometimes when they were doing formal dancing, she would want me to do it with her. So she kind of taught me how to do the waltz and certain other things, certain other dances that were very formal. And I had no idea at 5 years old, like, what is this about? I was just interested. Anyway, back to the class, I got in front of the class and we started to do the waltz. And I'm turning her and everything. And she was like, okay, wonderful, Mr. Lennox. So I sat down. After class, she said, Mr. Lennox, can you see me for just a second? I was like, sure. And she said, do you have anything to do this Sunday? And I was like, well, I have church, but after church, I'm free. And she said, well, if you don't mind, if you could come by the dance studio that's on, she was on alongside right where close where our class was. If you can come to the dance studio, I would like for you to be a part of something. And I was thinking like, a part of what? She was like, she said, this is for a ballet. And I think you would be great for this. And I was like, okay. And I was like, sure. And when I left walking back to my room, I was like, ballet? I don't know how to do no ballet. I mean, I've watched it and stuff, but I'm not trained in that or anything like that. And I'm thinking, like, why did she ask me that? And how did she get that out of me just doing the waltz with her? Like, is this lady crazy or something? Anyway, I went on Sunday after church. I showed up in a t-shirt, also some jogging pants and church socks because I knew if we're doing ballet, I needed to kind of have on some things that are comfortable. When I walked in, there were nothing but women in there, and there was this young lady who was about 16 years old. She was so talented. She was the principal dancer, which means she was the main attraction of the ballet, and I was asked to be her accompaniment in a sense. So it's like I had to be in a lot of the parts of the ballet with her, helping her, dancing with her, lifting her, doing my own stuff. And I'm like, is this lady crazy? Like, I didn't say I could do ballet. Like, how does she even think that I can do this? I'm not trained in this. I began to hear some of the terminology being used, and I was like, what? But then when I would see the teacher do it, I could do it. There were a lot of people in there a lot of the dancers that were like laughing when I would ask questions and kind of giggling to themselves. And for me, that really didn't bother. I'm like, you're gonna have to come harder than that. If you think you're gonna bother me or get under my skin, that doesn't bother me. But I was becoming a little discouraged because I felt a little out of place even though I was doing it and I was trying to lift this young lady and not drop her or break something on her, whatever. She was so fragile. She was very good and she was very patient, especially to be 16, but she was very disciplined. And she was telling me how great of a job I was doing, and she was giving me some pointers because I've always been a person who liked to ask questions because I don't want to stand here and don't know what I'm doing. And when I left the class that day, I kind of, and the teacher told me I was doing a great job, and she was like, come back. I never asked her why she picked me either, and how could she tell that might be useful for this. So when I went back to one of my friends at the moment, at that time, a longtime friend, I went back to her room and I talked to her about it, and she actually was trained in everything, and she did twirling for years, so she did every type of dance technique that you can think of. So she was very hip to anything. And I was discouraged. And I said, you know what? I don't even think I want to go back because I'm not trained in ballet. It's very technical. You have to really know what you're doing. It's hard, especially if you've never done it before. And I said, I don't know all those terms and things. And she began to really push me. And she was like, Josh, all of those terms are French terms for things, but all you need to do is see the movement and you can do it. And she said, I'll go down there and sit everybody down. She said, but oh no, you're going back next Sunday. You're going back. I thought about it and I was just in my head, I was thinking like I don't have the skill sets. I've not had the years of training that these girls have. Those girls were in there pas de bourrée, releve, they jumping around and like leaping like I'm like, what is this, the Nutcracker? I mean, they were great, they were excellent. And here I am like, I don't even have a minute's worth of training in ballet. However, I went back, and when I went back, I had a determination, and this time I was a little pissed. Why I was saying I was a little pissed because I was like, I'm gonna show y'all while y'all was doing all that. Hee 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 hee. I'm gonna give you something to laugh about. So when we started to go through the several movements, I was landing everything, and I would ask quick questions, and then I had it, and I saw some of them kind of looking like, did he go off somewhere? And I mean, what's gotten into him? Because and I was like it's a determination I had. And what I actually didn't realize is when we were doing these few practices, and we didn't have a lot of practices, which I was like, why did she give me this at the last minute? When it was time for the performance, I remember my mom came down from Nashville. A lot of my friends came to support me that were right there who went to school. There are people who I knew well, they came to support me. And you could not tell. I remember watching the tape in Miss Coulter's class, you could not tell that I was not trained. You would have thought I was trained like I had been doing it since I was a kid. What my point in all of that is saying that I didn't need all of the skill sets. And those girls had great talent. And yes, they've been doing it for years and they were prestigious in what they were doing. Some of them were very much so prima donnas and divas. But it showed that I had the capacity to do it, and God knew that I could do it. And that's why sometimes when we have these dreams and visions, and you think they're so big and beyond who you are, and that you're not capable, it's like, I don't have this, I don't have that. And you're thinking about all the things that you don't have, but not knowing that maybe you just need the grit. Maybe you just need the endurance. Maybe you just need the tenacity. Maybe you just need the determination. Maybe you just need the faith. that will actually allow you to follow through into something that you find out I really didn't need all of that in order to accomplish or get to where I needed to be. Pretty sure that many people who are highly successful right now did not have trainings or skill set or education or any formal background in what they became. And what I'm saying too is what I had to also go back to was I just thought about this yesterday that when I was actually in, I think, kindergarten, I was going to MB Cook. It was a performing arts school. I went to like three schools in kindergarten, y'all. So I jumped around, moved a lot. But when I went there, I remember we did take, I had acting classes, I had a dance class, I had singing classes, but it wasn't like they were teaching you in a sense. They were just kind of like, they were teaching us, but you kind of had to have a natural knack for it. And it's almost like they were just cultivating you. And I do remember the bar. I do remember sometimes having to wear, I just forgot about it, but of having to, do the stretches, the flexibility, and learning the terminology, even though I was very young. And it was for just a short moment, not knowing that, oh, wait a minute, I kind of do have some level of background. And even if it was for a moment, I was exposed to it. Some of the things that you're going towards or that you're even in right now that you thought that you needed so much more in, you've already been exposed to it, even if it was just visual, even if you were just observing some things. You've always been, I think I've heard TD Jake say it once. He said, God has already exposed you to where you're going. Sometimes we just overlook it. So then when you get to maybe a place of where you're wanting to, again, maybe you want to do your own business for the first time, but you have no background in business. You have no idea about a EIN number. You have no idea about going to open up a business account. You have no idea about logos and website and all of those things. But you might look back and see where you saw somebody else doing that, or you were in close proximity to someone else doing that, or maybe you were even aiding somebody in that. And even if you weren't, you have the ability and capacity to learn as you go. Sometimes we're thinking we don't want to jump until we have everything in our bag. And sometimes God is not even sometimes, I think all the time, God is demanding you, I will give you what you need. And actually, I'm going to reveal some things in you that you already have and you already possess that you don't have to look anywhere else for. And also, maybe you're creating something that is going to be done for the first time. So you don't really need a template or a blueprint, but you will learn as you go, or you will acquire as you go, or you will have people that come around you that kind of help you go in the direction that you're going. But knowing that if you're not doing anything right now because it's the first time, or you're not doing it because you think that you don't have enough skills or you don't have enough talent or the abilities. And I mean, we could go, if this is your first time, if you think about your first time of being about to be married for the first time, sometimes people are like, I don't know if I'm capable to be a wife or a husband. And, I don't have the best credit score. I don't have the best wardrobe, or I don't have such prestige, or I'm not used to certain high class things, or sharing my space, or cooking, or whatever it is. There could be all of these things, and you'll think about everything to count yourself out or discount yourself, and not realizing, first of all, the biggest reward is who you are. The greater reward is, aside from that, is what you can bring to whatever that is. You have a lot of skills and abilities just in who you are, not in just what you do. Oh, that's good. You have a lot of skills in just who you are, not what you can do or what you can produce. So if you're halting or standing back and I used to be that person when God would tell me to do something, or he was going to put me in something or involve me in something, especially when it came to anything arts and entertainment, singing, dancing, acting, certain things, giving me certain platforms. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, God, are you sure? You talking about me? Like, huh? Like, huh? But this is also a guy who he knows every number of hair on our head. He knows more about us than we will ever know. So it's like sometimes as we're going into things, you think that you're discounting yourself, you're knocking yourself down, and you're like, but I don't have this. And you can give me all the excuses in the world and list things and say, I don't have these things. And you're not even thinking about what you actually have in possession already, even if it's just a few things. You can be magnified as you start to go forward. Maybe as you take more steps further, God starts to unravel more things in you. to show you like you got more than you think, and you don't need years of this or years of that. Just as I told y'all, I never had ballet training, never had a dance class a day in my life. When I was in kindergarten, that was just a class for them to just kind of cultivate what we had. But I've always been naturally a dancer. And if you put something in front of me and said, do this, I would do it. And I still am the same way today. So if God wants to take you to these higher heights, don't try to halt him or stop him or doubt yourself or second guess yourself just because you of what you think you don't have, because you may only need just a few things and not all of the list that you think you need to have. I hope that I'm making a lot of sense to you all. You don't need as much training as you think. You don't need as much skill set as you think, because sometimes you're going to be put into things that you're going to grow those things. And as I could even say this, but I'll let you guys go. I've told you guys, you've seen before of when I danced in college. That was something I was not trot, I said trot, trained in or taught. I did actually watch girl majorettes in Nashville or Memphis, colleges and things. I would watch all over HBCUs, and I would get just captivated by how they were moving and dancing, how they were captivating the crowd. And I mean, I would feel something internally, but I knew men couldn't do that. So I was like, I can try to do it at home. So I taught myself. If y'all could see what I used to look like before I like kept doing it, I was stiff because it was just not a way I was used to moving my body. And my mom did not let me be in the band. She said, "You cannot be in the band." I was like, "I want to be a trumpet player. I can play the trumpet." I played the trumpet. I was like, "Can I play the trumpet in the marching band?" My ninth grade year, she was like, "No, I want you to focus on your scholastics, and then you can go into extracurricular things next year." And I was so angry, but I'm so glad she did that because I didn't realize what God was doing. He was saying, yeah, you need to watch and observe for these 4 years, because when you go off to college after your freshman year, you're going to be doing this on a college level, and you're not going to have a background in it. All you have as a background is observing, going home, trying to teach yourself. I didn't know a lot about, so I having to do formations on the field, uniforms, headbands, uniformity with hair, how to help somebody if their hair fall out. All of these different things, boots, character shoes, how to make sure the girls were pointing their toes, technique. I watched certain things like that. So over the years, I acquired it. So then I had to apply it. But when I started to do it, people thought I had been doing that type of dance for years, and I wasn't. But truth be told is I was being prepared. So I want you to also look back in certain areas of your life for where you're thinking that where you're heading and that you're not prepared for certain things or that you don't have enough. I want you to go back and reflect. That's your homework. Reflect and see where you've already been exposed to certain things and you've acquired certain skills that you've been sleeping on. That actually you've been preparing all along. It's just not been all at once, all at once. And you're thinking that you're needing more than you have, and you don't. Get started, grow as you go. Okay. Love y'all. I hope that you have enjoyed your time with me today on the Inspiration Station. I said I wasn't going to be long, but I started getting passionate about that thing, y'all, because it's nothing that we can't do. If we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us, think about that. Through Christ who strengthens us. So sometimes He's going to give us the strength to do something we've never done before, and He's going to lead and guide us, but He's also going to unravel some things that are already inside of you that you've just never met before. So, you don't need all that training. You don't need as much as you think to go do the things that you really have a heart's desire. And it's not just about career. It's not just about maybe moving, but it's about even like things down to dating, marriage, getting your first home, getting a car, your first car. I mean, we can go any and everywhere, starting your own business. We can go any and everywhere with that, working a job that you've never had any skill sets for, that you feel like you're not qualified for, and you might apply and get it. And really, I've seen that many times in my life, including my mother had a job when we lived here in Atlanta. She did not have she was over my mother did not go to college. That's why she was a pusher for me to do so. However, she had jobs all the time that required usually a college degree. And when we lived here in Atlanta, 94 to 96, she had a very competitive job that paid very well, where she was over people who had college degrees. And I remember she would come home. I had to teach her how to use a laptop. And if y'all remember laptops back in the day, they were thick and heavy and just all the things. She did not know what she was doing, and I had to help her. But what that showed me in that moment was like, you know what? Mama doesn't know everything she's doing, but she's going to work and getting her job done. She didn't know, but it was a leap of faith. Did she technically qualify for every single thing in that job? No, but she got the job. She got the job and she did very well. So there was no questioning her work ethic or thing, and something she learned as she got the position. So saying the same thing to you all, you're more capable than you think, and you don't need as much as you think to get started or to jump into whatever it is your heart desires. So I love y'all. Y'all will see me again at what time? 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 4 p.m. Pacific time next Friday in November. Goodness gracious, I'm gonna be quiet, y'all, but November next month, y'all, we have 2 more months left. But I want you to also, another thing, look back over this year so far and think of some moments where you really have overlooked how well you have done and where you should really be proud of yourself. And also where you've had to challenge yourself and be stretched this year and you've done things already that you've never done before. You tried things you've never done before. And trying doesn't mean that you ever, we try to do something that's the biggest part of it, but not trying is where you fail. Not trying is where you fail. So have a safe Halloween night to all of y'all who going to do, your trick or treating. I'm gonna do Hallelujah night in this house. But no, please enjoy the rest of your weekend and just keep meditating and reflecting on knowing that you don't need as much as you think. And instead of being like how little Josh was when I was younger, I would be like, God, me? Who me? Who me? And God be like, yeah, you. I'm choosing you. And if you look at a lot of figures in the Bible, a lot of them did not have certain qualities or requirements or qualifications as you think to do the major things that they did, but they were. He chose them just like he chose you. So I love y'all. Please spread love now more than ever. Pray for one another. Pray for unity. Pray for healing. Pray for divine intervention and all the things that you're seeing because y'all, we serve a God who is over everything, and he is the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So we're gonna be fine. We're going to be fine. Love y'all. See y'all. Share this. Thank y'all for always sharing. And I appreciate a lot of the commentary things. Again, doing some things, going to shift some things around. But, as you're starting something, even with starting this, I didn't have no qualifications in starting no podcasts and talking. And usually talking was something I never wanted to do unless I had to do. And God would just give me what to say and things, whether I was singing or when I've had to talk, when I've hosted, when I've done things like that over the years. But sometimes you just don't think you're ready or prepared for something. And actually, you find out you're actually more capable than you thought, just as y'all are seeing me do this. So, and I can't believe it's almost about to be a year in doing this. And this was just a leap of faith. And I'm glad that it's going in the direction that it's going and it's going to go higher than it's been. So, again, love y'all. Stop talking to me so I can get off of here. And y'all be good now. You hear? And stay safe. Love y'all. Bye.
Thanks for watching The Inspiration Station with Joshua Lenox. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.